Stephen traced along the tire tracks and finally arrived at the door of an abandoned warehouse. He got out of the car and walked towards it, only to be stopped by two guards at the entrance. Claiming to be looking for Henry, Stephen quickly overpowered the guards when they questioned him. Inside the warehouse, Henry was waiting for Stephen. Stephen demanded that Henry release Isabella, but Henry laughed at the threat, boasting that he had the upper hand as Isabella was in his custody. When Stephen insisted, Henry signaled, and dozens of well-trained thugs surrounded Stephen. However, Stephen was incredibly powerful, easily taking down the thugs one by one. Seeing his men defeated, Henry panicked and pulled out a gun. But Stephen's speed was too fast, and he dodged the bullet with ease. Before Henry could react, Stephen was behind him and choked him. Despite Henry's attempts to bargain for his life by offering money and women, Stephen, driven by anger for what Henry had done to Isabella, mercilessly snapped Henry's neck. After the remaining thugs surrendered, Stephen found Isabella tied up in a room. He freed her and comforted her. Isabella, wearing a pink dress, had some rope marks on her wrists and ankles. Stephen used his medical skills to soothe her pain. As they were in an intimate moment, Olivia arrived. She had received a call from Charles about the resolution of the kidnapping and rushed to the scene. Seeing Stephen and Isabella together, Olivia was heartbroken but pretended to be okay and left. Stephen then asked Charles to take care of Isabella and had a plan in mind. However, just as Charles was settling Isabella, the police arrived and arrested Stephen on the charge of intentional homicide. Despite being in custody, Stephen was calm. Olivia and Isabella both came to the police station. Olivia was determined to help Stephen get out, and Isabella was worried about him. Then, Henry's boss, Grant, came to the police station. Vowing revenge for his two dead brothers, Grant took Stephen away from the police station and brought him to a place called the Purgatory on Earth, a secret prison he controlled on the outskirts of Jiangzhou City. The prison was filled with cruel punishments, and few who entered survived. Stephen was locked in a damp and smelly cell, but he remained composed, relying on his system and invincible defense skill, ready to face whatever Grant had in store for him. Stephen was captured by Grant's men and brought before him. Grant, eager for revenge as Stephen had killed his two brothers, planned to torture Stephen in a special interrogation room. Stephen was tied to a chair with various torture devices around. Grant whipped Stephen, but Stephen remained unyielding, not even flinching. When Grant was about to use a red, hot iron, Olivia suddenly showed up to save Stephen. She had learned of his location from Charles. Olivia pointed a gun at Grant, but she was quickly surrounded by his men. In the chaos, Olivia was shot in the wrist and captured. Just as Grant was about to continue torturing Stephen, Grace, the owner of Cloudtop Information and also Stephen's woman, arrived. She revealed that Stephen was the real boss of Heaven on Earth, which shocked Grant. However, the situation escalated. Grant ordered a masked fighter named Ghostface to attack Stephen. Stephen fought bravely against Ghostface and the other thugs. Grace tried to help, but was caught by Ghostface. Stephen was determined to rescue her. He returned to the villa, asked Olivia to contact Charles to find Grace's whereabouts, and then rushed to the place where she was held, an abandoned factory. In the factory, Stephen fought Grant and Ghostface again. Despite the tough fight, with the help of Olivia and her men, Stephen managed to defeat Ghostface. But Grant escaped using a bomb. After returning to the villa, Stephen decided to make Grant pay. He planned to hold a press conference with the help of his girlfriends Olivia, Isabella, and Grace. His goal was to expose Grant's crimes, aiming to ruin him and his family by revealing his illegal and immoral deeds to the public. Olivia was initially worried about the powerful and well-rooted Zhao family in Jiangzhou, but Stephen convinced her that they couldn't let Grant, a man responsible for numerous heinous deeds, remain unpunished. At the press conference in Cloudtop Building, Stephen revealed Grant's illegal activities such as drug dealing, arms smuggling, and forced prostitution through a video. The evidence shocked the gathered media. Stephen emphasized that more evidence had been submitted to the police. His brave stand won the support of the journalists present. Back at the Jiangzhou police station, Chief Zhang Jingyi watched the press conference and immediately ordered the arrest of Grant. Meanwhile, in his villa, Grant, enraged by the exposure, planned to hire the Cobra and Bloodwolf assassin groups to kill Stephen. Stephen received a call from Chief Zhang, who verified the evidence and asked Stephen to assist in investigating the larger criminal group behind Grant. Stephen agreed on the condition that he could participate in the operation. Later, a mysterious person called Stephen, claiming to know a secret that could completely destroy Grant. They arranged to meet at the pavilion by the river. The mysterious man, who called himself Shadow, said he had a grudge against Grant and proposed a cooperation. He would provide information, and Stephen would take action. Just as they were discussing, the Bloodwolf, assassins, Silver Fox, and Scorpion, found them. They started a sniper attack. Shadow was shot while trying to deal with the sniper. Despite Steven using his invincible defense skill, Shadow sacrificed herself to save Steven. After the tragic event, Steven was heartbroken and angry. He blamed Olivia and the others for their sudden appearance, believing it led to Shadow's death. He then burned Shadow's body and buried her ashes by the river. At the same time, in his villa, Grant learned of the failed assassination attempt. He decided to cooperate with the Cobra Group's planned attack on Cloud Top Group, with the help of Chameleon. He also ordered his men to keep a close eye on Steven. Back at Cloud Top Building, Olivia, in a red dress, comforted Steven. She reminded him of his promise to avenge Shadow. Steven then asked her to contact Charles to investigate the Blood Wolf Group and to strengthen security in the company. He also asked her to stay with him as he was in great pain. And so, the battle between Steven and Grant, along with the lurking assassin groups, seemed far from over, with more intense confrontations on the horizon.